My beloved child, pause for a moment, because what you are about to hear is not random, and it is not something you clicked on by accident. Right now, in this very second, something is shifting around you that you cannot yet see, but you can feel it. There is a movement in the unseen realm, a divine rearrangement taking place, and it has everything to do with the life you are living in this very moment. You may have been waiting, questioning, even doubting whether your prayers were heard, but listen closely. This is the interruption you did not expect, yet desperately needed. There is someone being sent to you. Yes, a real person. Not a dream, not a distant sign, but a physical presence that will cross your path very soon. And when they do, they will carry something far greater than words. They will carry a message, a key, something that has the power to unlock the very blessing you have been waiting for. You might feel tempted to laugh this off, to dismiss it as coincidence or imagination, but don't. Because what is being set into motion right now has already been approved in the courts of heaven. You have asked for answers. You have cried out in silence when no one else was listening. You have held on when it felt like everything around you was falling apart. And through it all, you kept going, even when you didn't understand why the doors remained closed. But what you didn't see, what you couldn't see, is that behind those closed doors, something sacred was being prepared specifically for you. This is not just another moment. This is not just another message. This is a divine appointment. The person who is coming into your life carries an assignment with your name on it. They may not look extraordinary. In fact, they may appear completely ordinary, someone you might overlook if you're not paying attention. But heaven does not always wrap its miracles in obvious forms. Sometimes, the greatest breakthroughs arrive disguised as the simplest encounters. Feel that stirring in your spirit right now. That quiet pull that made you stop and listen instead of scrolling away. That is not by chance. That is confirmation. Because your spirit recognizes what your mind is still trying to process. Something is about to change, and you are not unprotected in this moment. Archangel Michael is standing guard over this divine exchange. He has been clearing paths, removing unseen obstacles, and ensuring that what is meant for you reaches you without interference. There have been battles fought on your behalf that you never knew existed, delays that were actually protection, and detours that were guiding you exactly to this moment. But here is what you must understand. Timing is everything. When this person appears, when the moment unfolds, you must be ready. Not fearful, not doubtful, but aware. Because the enemy of your blessing is not absence, it is distraction. Missing the moment because it didn't look the way you expected. So I ask you now, will you be ready when the message arrives? Will you recognize the voice of destiny when it speaks through someone you never imagined? Because this is real, and it is closer than you think. Listen carefully, because what is about to unfold in your life will not come in the way you have been expecting. You have been looking for signs in the sky, for loud confirmations, for something undeniable and dramatic. But God often chooses a different path, one that is quieter, more subtle, yet far more powerful. The answer you have been waiting for is not arriving as a sign, it is arriving as a person. This is how heaven moves. Again and again, throughout time, God has used ordinary people to carry extraordinary assignments. Not angels appearing in blazing light, but human vessels walking into another person's life at the exact moment they are needed. And now, that pattern is repeating itself for you. The one who is coming may not appear important. They may not introduce themselves with authority or speak with overwhelming confidence. In fact, everything about them might seem simple, even unremarkable at first glance. This is where many people miss their moment. They expect the blessing to look grand, to feel obvious, to announce itself loudly. But divine messages rarely come that way. They come wrapped in humility, hidden inside conversations that seem ordinary on the surface but carry something eternal within them. You might meet this person in a place you go every day. A casual conversation could suddenly take a turn that feels deeper than expected. Or it could be someone from your past, someone you have not heard from in a long time, reappearing without warning. And in that moment, you may feel something shift, a strange sense of familiarity, a quiet knowing that this interaction is different. Do not ignore that feeling. That is your spirit recognizing a divine setup. What you must understand is this: your blessing has not been denied. It has been delayed for a reason. Every prayer you have spoken, every tear you have shed, every moment you thought you were forgotten, it has all been recorded. Nothing has been wasted. The delay was never rejection. It was preparation. Not just preparation for the blessing itself, but preparation for you to receive it fully. There were things that needed to align. There were situations that had to move out of the way. There were unseen forces that had to be dealt with before this moment could safely arrive. And through it all, Archangel Michael has been present, guarding the process, ensuring that what is meant for you is not stolen, delayed beyond its time, or diverted away from your path. Now the moment is closer than it has ever been. Here is where your role becomes critical. Recognition is everything. The message will not force itself upon you. It will not demand your attention. You must be spiritually alert. You must be willing to listen beyond the surface of words. Because sometimes, the most life-changing truths are spoken in the simplest sentences. There will be something in what this person says that resonates deeply within you. It may not make complete sense immediately, but it will stir something undeniable in your heart. It might answer a question you never voiced out loud. It might confirm something you have been sensing but were afraid to believe. Or it might unlock a direction you had not even considered before. Do not rush the moment. Do not dismiss it. And most importantly, do not let doubt silence what your spirit is trying to show you. Because doubt is often the final barrier that stands between you and the breakthrough you have been praying for. You have come too far to miss this now. The truth is, this encounter has already been scheduled. The timing has already been decided. The path has already been cleared. The only question that remains is whether you will recognize it when it happens. Something is about to shift in a way that cannot be reversed. And when it does, you will look back at this very moment and realize you were being prepared all along. There comes a moment in life that does not announce itself with noise, yet it carries the weight of everything changing at once. This is that moment. And when it arrives for you, it will feel different from anything you have experienced before. Not because it is loud or dramatic, but because it will touch something deep within your spirit that cannot be explained by logic alone. You will feel it before you fully understand it. The encounter will seem simple at first. A conversation, a passing interaction, a few words exchanged that, on the surface, may not appear extraordinary. But beneath those words there will be something else, something layered, something intentional, something that feels as though it was meant specifically for you. And in that instant, a quiet awareness will begin to rise within you. It will feel like recognition, like clarity breaking through confusion, like a sudden alignment of thoughts and emotions that have been scattered for so long. This is how divine shifts happen, not always with spectacle, but with precision. You may notice a sense of calm coming over you, even if the message itself challenges you. Or perhaps you will feel a sudden urgency, as if time has slowed down just enough for you to truly hear what is being said. Some describe it as déjà vu, others as a deep inner knowing. But whatever form it takes, it will be undeniable. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. And in that moment, something inside you will begin to unlock. It might be a belief you have been holding onto that suddenly breaks apart. It might be a direction you have been unsure about that becomes crystal clear. Or it could be a confirmation so precise that it answers questions you have carried silently for years. The power of this moment will not be in how loud it is, but in how deeply it resonates within you. But here is where many falter. When the shift begins, the mind often tries to interfere. That will whisper. Logic will question. Fear may attempt to pull you back into hesitation. You may find yourself thinking, is this really it? Or am I reading too much into this? And that is exactly where you must be careful. Because the blessing you have been waiting for does not require perfect understanding. It requires trust. The message being delivered to you is not random. It has been prepared with intention, carried through divine timing, and protected along the way by Archangel Michael, who has ensured that this moment reaches you without interference. There have been forces that tried to delay this, distractions that attempted to pull you away from being present, and doubts that sought to cloud your clarity. But none of it has succeeded. You are here, and this moment is still yours. What happens next depends on your response. Will you listen fully? Will you allow the message to settle within you, even if it challenges your expectations? Will you act on what you receive, even if it requires stepping into the unknown? Because this is where transformation begins, not in hearing but in responding. The shift you are about to experience is not temporary. It is not something that fades away once the moment passes. It is the beginning of something new, something that has the potential to alter your path in ways you cannot yet fully comprehend. But it requires your openness. It requires your willingness to accept that what is unfolding is real, even if it does not fit into what you thought it would look like. You have been prepared for this, even in ways you did not realize. Every delay, every challenge, every moment of uncertainty has been shaping you to recognize and receive this exact encounter. And now, the time has come. So when it happens, do not hold back. Do not shrink the moment by overanalyzing it. Do not let fear convince you to dismiss what your spirit clearly recognizes. Step into it. Receive it. Let it unfold. Because this is the moment everything shifts. Type I receive the message in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 3941 has just been released. And as this truth settles into your heart, understand this. When you respond to a divine moment, you are not just changing your own life, you are becoming part of something greater. If this message is stirring something within you, if you feel that this is more than just words, then hear this as a call to action. There are others who are still waiting, still searching, still hoping for a sign just like the one you are receiving now. When you choose to support this mission, whether through super thanks or a direct PayPal offering, you are helping carry this light to those who need it most. God says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." This is not just a verse. It is a living promise, speaking directly into this moment. As you give, you are not losing. You are planting seeds into a harvest that will return to you in ways you cannot yet imagine. So step into this moment fully. Act in faith. Sow with intention. And watch how the doors begin to open, not just for you, but for countless others who will be reached because you chose to move when it mattered most. You have asked this question more times than you can count, even if you never said it out loud. Why did it take so long? Why did the answer delay when your need felt urgent? Why did it seem like heaven was silent when your heart was speaking so clearly? These questions did not go unheard. They were witnessed. They were understood. And now, you are finally stepping into the clarity that was always waiting for you. The truth is, what felt like delay was never abandonment. It was alignment. There were pieces of your life that were not yet ready to hold what you were asking for. Not because you were unworthy, but because the blessing itself required a certain foundation. If it had come earlier, it would not have lasted. If it had arrived before its time, it might have created confusion instead of clarity, pressure instead of peace. So what did God do? He slowed the process, not to deny you, but to prepare everything around you and within you. Your internal shifts that had to take place first. Your perspective needed to grow. Your strength had to deepen. There were lessons hidden in your waiting that you could not have learned any other way. And even though it felt uncomfortable, even though there were moments when you questioned everything, those moments were shaping you into someone who could not only receive the blessing, but sustain it. At the same time, there were external factors moving into place. People had to be positioned. Circumstances had to change. Certain doors needed to close permanently so that the right ones could open without interference. You may have seen opportunities fall apart and wondered why. You may have experienced connections fade away and felt confused by it. But what you did not see was that those endings were necessary. They were clearing space for what is now about to arrive. Nothing was random. Not a single delay, not a single redirection. There were also unseen battles taking place on your behalf. Forces that tried to interfere, to create obstacles, to slow down what was meant for you. But you were never fighting alone. Archangel Michael hath been standing in defense, ensuring that what belongs to you is not stolen or destroyed. There were moments when things could have gone completely off course, but they did. And that is not by chance. That is protection. You may not have noticed it at the time, but there were situations you avoided without even realizing it. There were paths you did not take that would have led to more struggle. There were people who could not reach you even when they tried. All of that was part of the process. All of that was part of keeping you aligned with this very moment. And now, as everything begins to come together, you can start to see the pattern. What once felt like chaos now reveals itself as careful orchestration. What once felt like silence now reveals itself as divine timing. The waiting was not empty. It was active. It was purposeful. It was necessary. But here is the most important part. Now that the time has come, the shift will feel faster than you expect. What took so long to prepare will not take long to unfold. This is the nature of divine timing. It moves slowly in preparation, but quickly in manifestation. So when things begin to change, when doors start opening, when the message finally reaches you through the person being sent, do not hesitate. Do not fall back into the mindset of delay. This is not the season of waiting anymore. This is the season of receiving. You have already done the hard part. You have endured the uncertainty. You have stayed through the silence. You have grown through the pressure. And now, you are stepping into the result of all of it. So release the frustration. Let go of the question, why did it take so long? Because the answer is already unfolding in front of you. It took this long because it needed to be right. It needed to be complete. It needed to be protected. And now it is ready. What is coming into your life next will not carry the confusion of the past. It will not bring the instability you once feared. It will arrive with clarity, with purpose, and with a sense of peace that confirms you are exactly where you are meant to be. The wait is over. There is something you must understand now, something that will change the way you look at everything you have been through. What you experienced was never just physical. It was never just about circumstances, people, or timing. There was another layer to it, one you could not see, but one that was very real. A battle was taking place around you, and for a long time, you didn't even know it was happening. This was not a battle you could fight with your own strength. It was not something you could solve by thinking harder, working more, or trying to control every outcome. This was spiritual, and because it was spiritual, it required intervention beyond what your eyes could perceive. There were moments when things seemed to fall apart without explanation. Plan you were certain about suddenly collapsed. Opportunities that felt right slipped away at the last second. People you trusted changed in ways you didn't expect. And in those moments, it felt confusing. It felt unfair. You may have even questioned why things kept going wrong when all you were trying to do was move forward. But what if those moments were not setbacks but shields? What if what you thought was loss was actually protection in disguise? Because behind the scenes, forces were working to disrupt your path. Distractions were being placed in front of you to pull your attention away from what truly mattered. Delays were introduced not just as part of timing, but as attempts to exhaust your patience. There were influences trying to redirect you, to lead you into decisions that would have taken you further away from what was truly meant for you. And yet, despite all of that, you are still here. That alone should tell you something powerful. You were not left unguarded in those moments. You were not abandoned in the confusion. Archangel Michael was present, standing in defense, intervening in ways you could not see. There were battles fought on your behalf that never reached your awareness. There were outcomes that could have been far worse, but were quietly redirected. There were plans against you that never succeeded, not because they weren't real, but because they were stopped. You may have felt alone, but you were never unprotected. This is why certain things never fully worked out, even when you tried your best to make them happen. This is why some doors closed no matter how much effort you put into keeping them open. It wasn't because you failed. It was because those paths were not aligned with what is now being prepared for you. Sometimes protection feels like disappointment in the moment, but later, it reveals itself as wisdom. Now, as you stand on the edge of receiving what has been held back for so long, it is important that you recognize the significance of this victory, because that is what it is, a victory, not just over circumstances, but over everything that tried to interfere with your path. The reason the message is finally reaching you now, the reason the person is being sent into your life at this exact time, is because the resistance has been dealt with. The obstacles that once stood in the way have been removed or weakened to the point where they can no longer stop what is meant to happen next. This does not mean there will never be challenges again, but it does mean that the specific battle surrounding this blessing has already been won, and that changes everything. Because now, you are not moving forward in uncertainty. You are moving forward in alignment. You are stepping into something that has already been secured, already been protected, already been prepared. So when the moment arrives, when the person stands in front of you and delivers what they were sent to carry, understand that this is not just an interaction. It is the result of a battle you did have to fight yourself. Receive it with confidence. Receive it with awareness. And most importantly, receive it without fear. Because what is coming to you now has already passed through everything that tried to stop it and still made its way to you. That is how you know it was always meant to be. And now listen closely, because this is where your expectations must shift completely. You may have been imagining someone specific, someone powerful, someone obviously spiritual, someone who looks like they carry authority the moment they walk into a room. But that is not how this will happen. The one being sent to you will not come with a title. They will not announce themselves as a messenger. In fact, if you are not paying attention, you might overlook them entirely. This is intentional. God often chooses the unexpected, the unnoticed, the ordinary in appearance, to deliver what is extraordinary in purpose. Why? Because it removes distraction. It forces you to listen deeper, to feel beyond appearances, to recognize truth without relying on surface-level signals. The message is what carries the power, not the image of the person delivering it. This individual may already exist within your world. It could be someone you see occasionally but never truly noticed. A coworker, a neighbor, a casual acquaintance. Or it could be someone from your past, someone who suddenly reaches out after a long period of silence, with no clear reason why. You might even question why they are contacting you now, why their presence feels so sudden. But nothing about this is random. They are being positioned. Even more intriguing is this. They may not fully understand their role in this moment. They may not realize the weight of what they are carrying. To them, it may feel like a simple conversation, a casual thought, a small action. But what they release to you will carry significance far beyond their awareness. That is how divine assignments often work. The vessel does not always see the full picture, but the one receiving the message feels its impact immediately. This is why you must not judge the moment based on who the person appears to be. If you focus only on their background, their status, or how familiar they are to you, you risk missing the depth of what is being delivered. The power is not in who they are. It is in what they carry. There will be something about the interaction that stands out. Perhaps it is the timing. Perhaps it is the exact words they use. Perhaps it is the way their message connects directly to something you have been dealing with internally. It may feel too precise to be coincidence, too aligned to be random. That is your confirmation. But here is something even deeper. The path that brings this person to you has already been guided. Every step they take toward this encounter has been influenced in ways they do not even recognize. Thoughts placed in their mind, in a certain direction. Timing adjusted so that your paths cross at exactly the right moment. This is not chance. It is orchestration at a level beyond human planning. And throughout this process, Archangel Michael has remained present, ensuring that this connection is not disrupted. There were opportunities for this meeting to be delayed, distractions that could have caused a missed encounter, but those have been cleared. The alignment is now too precise to be broken. So when this person appears, do not overcomplicate it. Do not search for perfection in the delivery. Do not expect them to say everything in the exact way you imagined. Sometimes, the message comes in fragments. Sometimes, it is one sentence that holds everything. Sometimes, it is a simple statement that unlocks a realization you have been struggling to reach on your own. Your role is not to analyze every detail in the moment. Your role is to receive. Be present. Listen fully. Pay attention not just to their words, but to what those words awaken within you. Because the true message is not only what is spoken, it is what is activated inside you when you hear it. You may even feel a shift happening instantly. A sense of clarity that was not there before. A direction that suddenly becomes obvious. Or a release from confusion that has been weighing on you for a long time. That is the impact of a message that was meant specifically for you. And once it is delivered, everything begins to change. Because the identity of the messenger was never the focus. The transformation they carries, There is something you must prepare your heart for, because when the moment comes, it will not feel overwhelming in volume, but it will be overwhelming in impact. The message that is about to reach you will not be long, complicated, or filled with dramatic language. In fact, it may be surprisingly simple, and that is exactly why it carries so much power. God does not always speak in paragraphs. Sometimes, He speaks in a single sentence that carries the weight of everything you have been searching for. You have been expecting something grand, something unmistakable, something that forces you to stop and recognize it instantly. But the truth is, the most life-changing words often arrive quietly. They slip into your awareness without pressure, yet once they land, they cannot be ignored. They settle into your spirit in a way that feels undeniable, like a key sliding perfectly into a lock that has been waiting for it. This is how you will know. The words will meet you exactly where you are. They will connect to something you have been carrying internally, something you may not have shared with anyone else. It could be a question that has been sitting in your mind, unanswered. It could be a decision you have been struggling to make. Or it could be a feeling you have not been able to explain. And suddenly, through this person, the answer will come. Not in complexity, but in clarity. You might hear something as simple as, "You already know what to do," or "This is the direction you need to take," or even a casual statement that seems unrelated on the surface. But for you, it will strike deeper. It will feel as if those words were designed specifically for your situation, as if they were placed into that conversation with intention. And they were. Because what is being delivered is not just information, it is activation. The moment those words reach you, something will begin to shift internally. Confusion will start to dissolve. Hesitation will weaken. And in its place, there will be a growing sense of certainty. You may not have every detail figured out immediately, but you will feel the direction. You will feel the clarity. And most importantly, you will feel the peace that comes with knowing you are no longer guessing. But here is where your awareness becomes crucial. Do not dismiss the simplicity of the message. Many people miss their breakthrough because they have stuck complexity. They believe that something so important must come with detailed explanations, long conversations, or undeniable signs. But divine truth does not need to be complicated to be powerful. In fact, its simplicity is what makes it so precise. The message you receive will cut through everything that has been clouding your mind. It will not add confusion. It will remove it. It will not overwhelm you. It will center you. And in that clarity, you will begin to see things differently. You will start to understand why certain things did not work out before. You will recognize patterns that were not visible to you until now. You will see connections between moments in your life that once felt unrelated. And suddenly, everything begins to make sense. This is the unlocking. And as this happens, you must allow yourself to trust it. Not partially, not with hesitation, but fully. Because this clarity is not coming from your own effort alone. It is being guided, supported, and protected. Archangel Michael has been present throughout this entire process, ensuring that the message reaches you exactly as it needs to, without distortion, without delay, and without interference. There is a reason the words will feel so precise. There is a reason they will resonate so deeply. It is because they have been aligned with your journey, your experiences, and your current moment in a way that nothing else could replicate. And once you receive them, you cannot go back to not knowing. That is the nature of truth. It changes you the moment you recognize it. So when you hear those words, do not rush past them. Do not brush them aside because they seem too simple. Sit with them. Let them settle. Let them unfold within you. Because what may feel like a small moment on the outside is actually a turning point on the inside. This is where everything begins to open. Not all at once, but with intention. Not with noise, but with clarity. And not by force, but by alignment. The words are coming. And when they arrive, they will unlock everything you have been waiting for. There is a door that is about to appear before you, and it will not look the way you imagined. It will not be marked with certainty or labeled as your breakthrough. It will not announce itself with loud signs or dramatic signals. Instead, it will come quietly, almost subtly, wrapped inside a moment that feels ordinary on the surface, but carries something extraordinary within it. And this is where everything depends on you. Because doors like this do not stay open forever. They are moments of alignment, windows of opportunity that require awareness and response. If you hesitate too long, if you allow doubt to cloud your perception, if you dismiss the moment because it does not match your expectations, you risk letting it pass without stepping through it. This is not meant to create fear within you, but to awaken your awareness. You have already come so far. You have endured the waiting, the uncertainty, the questions that seem to have no answers. And now, as everything begins to align, this is not the time to withdraw. This is the time to be present, to be alert, to recognize that what is unfolding is not random. It is intentional. The door will likely come through that person who has been sent into your life. Through their words, through their presence, through the message they carry, an opening will present itself. It may be an idea, an invitation, a realization, or even a decision that suddenly becomes clear. And in that moment, you will feel it, that inner pull, that quiet nudge urging you to move forward. Do not ignore that, because that nudge is not coming from uncertainty, it is coming from alignment. Still, there will be a voice that tries to interfere, a voice that tells you to wait, to analyze, to question whether this is truly the right step. It may remind you of past disappointments, of moments when things did not work out the way you hoped. It may attempt to protect you by keeping you where you are, convincing you that staying still is safer than stepping forward. But what you must understand is this: staying still is what kept the blessing waiting. Movement is what unlocks it. This does not mean reckless action. It does not mean rushing without awareness. It means responding with trust when clarity is given. It means recognizing that not every step will come with complete certainty, but the right steps will come with peace. And that peace will be your confirmation. There will be something about this moment that feels right, even if it stretches you, even if it challenges you to step beyond your comfort zone, even if it requires you to let go of what you have been holding on to for so long. That feeling is not something to fear, it is something to follow. Because the door in front of you is not random. It has been placed there with intention, protected through unseen battles, and brought into your path at exactly the right time. Archangel Michael has ensured that this opportunity is not blocked, that this opening is not hidden, and that you are able to see it clearly when it appears. Now, the decision is yours. Will you step through even if you cannot see everything on the other side? Will you trust that what has been prepared for you is worth moving toward? Or will you allow hesitation to keep you standing at the threshold, wondering what could have been? This is your moment to choose differently. Not based on fear, not based on past experiences, but based on what you are feeling right now. This awareness, this clarity, this sense that something real is happening. Do not let this door become another almost in your life. Do not let it become something you look back on, wishing you had acted when you had the chance. Instead, step forward, open the door, and allow what had been waiting for you to finally enter your life. Type "I step through the door" in the comments if you are ready to receive. Blessing code 5826 is now activated. And as you stand at this threshold, understand this: every open door you walk through does not only transform your life, it creates a pathway for others to find their way to. This message you are receiving is not just for you. It is part of a greater flow, a river of light that reaches souls across the world who are still searching for confirmation, still waiting for their moment. Right now, you have the opportunity to become part of that flow. As you respond to this divine door, you can also extend that same opportunity to others by supporting this mission. God is speaking even now. As you sow into the Spirit, you will reap a harvest beyond measure. This is not a distant promise. It is alive, active, and speaking directly into your situation. If your heart is stirring, if you feel the pull to act, then move with it. Sow your seed through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link provided in the description and QR code. This is not just giving. It is aligning yourself with the very flow that is opening doors in your own life. So do not wait. Do not hesitate. Step forward in faith. Act with intention. And watch how the same doors you walk through begin to open for others because you chose to move when it mattered most. There is something deeply personal about what is happening right now. Something that reaches into places within you that no one else fully understands. Because long before this moment, long before this message, you were already asking. Maybe not out loud, maybe not in words others could hear, but within yourself, you were seeking confirmation. You were looking for something real, something undeniable, something that could finally settle the questions that have been lingering in your heart. And now, this is it. What is about to unfold through this encounter is not just guidance, it is confirmation. The kind that does not leave you second-guessing. The kind that connects directly to moments you have lived, prayers you have whispered, and thoughts you have carried in silence. It will feel familiar, almost as if you have heard it before, but never this clearly. That is because it has been forming within you for some time. Now, it is being brought to the surface. You may begin to notice how everything starts to line in a way that feels too precise to ignore. Words spoken by this person will echo something you were thinking about recently. A suggestion they make will connect to an idea you had but never acted on. A direction they mention will match a feeling you could not fully explain until now. And in that alignment, you will feel it. This is not random. This is your answer. There were times when you doubted whether you were being guided at all. Times when you wondered if you were just overthinking, imagining patterns that were not really there. You may have even pulled back from trusting your own instincts, because things did not always work out the way you expected. But what you are about to experience will be different. This will not feel forced. It will not feel confusing. It will feel clear. Clarity is the language of confirmation. When something is truly meant for you, it does not create chaos within you. It creates understanding. It brings a sense of peace, even if it challenges you to move forward. It quiets the noise of doubt and replaces it with a steady knowing that does not need constant validation. And that is what is coming into your life now. You will not need to search for more signs after this. You will not feel the need to keep questioning whether you are on the right path, because the message you receive will settle something within you that has been unsettled for far too long. But here is something even more powerful. This confirmation is not just about one decision, one moment, or one step. It is about your direction as a whole. It is about realigning you with what you were always meant to move toward. It is about bringing you back into a flow where things begin to make sense again, where your actions feel connected to a greater purpose instead of scattered across uncertainty. And as this happens, you will begin to notice a shift not only in your thoughts, but in your surroundings. Opportunities will start to present themselves in ways that feel natural, not forced. Conversations will begin to carry more meaning. Situations that once felt confusing will begin to resolve themselves without the same level of struggle. This is what happens when confirmation takes root. It changes how you move. It changes how you see. And changes what you allow into your life. And through all of this, know that you are not navigating this alone. Archangel Michael continues to stand as a protector over this process, ensuring that what is being revealed to you is not disrupted or distorted. There is a covering over this moment, a sense of divine order that is holding everything in place so that you can receive exactly what you need. So when this confirmation comes, and it will, do not brush it aside. Do not treat it as just another moment in your day. Recognize it for what it is, the answer you have been waiting for. Let it settle within you. Let it guide you. And most importantly, let it move you forward. Because once confirmation arrives, standing still is no longer an option. You have been given clarity for a reason. Now, you are being called to follow it. The moment the message is delivered, something begins to change, and it does not wait. This is not the kind of shift that slowly builds over months without you noticing. This is immediate. It may not transform every external situation overnight, but internally, the change will be undeniable. You will feel it the same way you feel a weight suddenly lifted from your shoulders. The same way you feel clarity when confusion finally breaks apart. At first, it may feel subtle, like a quiet stillness settling within you. The noise that once filled your thoughts will begin to fade. The constant questioning, the endless back and forth in your mind, the uncertainty that kept you stuck, all of it will start to lose its grip. In its place, there will be a sense of direction. Not forced, not rushed, but steady and real. This is the beginning of movement. You will start to see things differently almost instantly. Situations that once felt complicated will appear simpler. Decisions that seemed impossible to make will now feel clear. You may even look back at the same circumstances that confused you before and wonder how they ever held so much power over you. That is because the message you received has shifted your perspective at its core. And perspective changes everything. What once felt like obstacles will begin to look like stepping stones. What once felt like rejection will begin to make sense as redirection. You will start to understand that nothing you went through was meaningless. Every experience was leading you toward this exact moment of clarity, this exact point where everything begins to open. Then comes the external shift. Opportunities will begin to appear in ways that feel natural, almost effortless. You will not have to chase them the way you once did. Instead, they will align with you. Conversations will start to flow more easily. The right words will come to you without struggle. You may find yourself in the right place at the right time more often than before, encountering people and situations that seem perfectly timed. This is not coincidence. This is alignment in motion. You may also notice that certain things begin to fall away more quickly. People, habits, or situations that no longer fit where you are going will start to detach without resistance. What once felt hard to let go of will now feel necessary to release. And instead of feeling loss, you will feel space. Space for something new to enter. Space for growth. Space for the blessing that has been waiting for you. Do not resist this part of the process. Because just as new doors are opening, old ones must close completely. This is where many people become uncomfortable. They want the new without letting go of the old. They want the blessing without the transition. But what you are stepping into requires room. It requires a clear path. and everything that is leaving now is making that path possible. Trust this, because what is entering your life is not temporary. It is not something that will come and go without impact. It is something that will establish itself, something that will grow, something that will continue to unfold long after this initial moment has passed. And through it all, Archangel Michael remains present, ensuring that this shift is not interrupted, that what is meant to align with you continues to do so, and that what is not meant for you no longer has access to your path. You are not just experiencing a moment, you are entering a new phase. This is the difference between waiting and receiving. Waiting is filled with questions, with uncertainty, with a feeling of something missing. Receiving is filled with clarity, with movement, with a sense that everything is finally coming together. And now, you are stepping into that space. So do not hold on to the mindset of waiting. Do not expect things to remain the same. Allow yourself to move with this shift, to follow where it leads, to trust that what is happening now is not temporary. It is foundational. Because this is only the beginning. What you are experiencing right now is the first wave of something much greater. And as it continues to unfold, you will begin to realize that the life you once knew was only preparing you for the life you are now stepping into. There's a difference between receiving a blessing and living in it. What is unfolding in your life now is not meant to be a single moment that passes and fades into memory. It is meant to become your new reality. This is where many people misunderstand the process. They believe the breakthrough is the end. But in truth, it is only the beginning. Because once you have received clarity, once the message has unlocked what was hidden, once the shift has taken place within you, you are no longer the same person you were before. And because you are no longer the same, your life cannot continue in the same way either. This is where overflow begins. Overflow is not just about having more. It is about becoming aligned with a flow that continues. It is about stepping into a state where what you receive is no longer limited to a single moment, but continues to expand, to grow, and to touch every area of your life. It changes how you think, how you act, how you respond to situations, and even how others experience you. You will begin to notice that things no longer feel as heavy as they once did. Challenges may still appear, but they will not carry the same weight. You will approach them differently, with a sense of confidence that was not there before. Why? Because you are no longer operating from uncertainty. You are operating from understanding. There is a calmness that comes with this, a steady, grounded awareness that you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to do. You are no longer searching for direction. You are walking in it. And that changes everything. Even your decisions will begin to shift. You will no longer feel the need to overanalyze every step or question every outcome. There will be a natural flow to your actions, a sense that you are moving with something greater than yourself instead of trying to force things into place. Opportunities will feel aligned instead of pressured. Connections will feel meaningful instead of random. And as this continues, you will start to see the impact extend beyond just your own life. The clarity you now carry will begin to influence others. The peace you have found will be felt by those around you. People may begin to come to you, seeking guidance, seeking understanding, even if they cannot fully explain why. That is because when you step into alignment, it does not stay contained. It radiates. This is part of the overflow. What you have received is not only for you. It is meant to move through you. But in order for this to continue, there is something important you must hold on to. Gratitude. Gratitude keeps the flow open. It keeps your awareness sharp. It reminds you that what you are experiencing is not something to take lightly, not something to overlook once it becomes familiar. Because the moment you begin to overlook it is the moment you disconnect from the very thing that created it. So stay aware. Stay present. Recognize each shift, each opportunity, each moment of clarity as part of something ongoing, something intentional. Do not reduce it to coincidence or routine, because what you are living in now was once something you were waiting for. And now it is here. And through it all, know that Archangel Michael continues to stand as a protector over this new phase of your life. Just as he guarded the process that brought you here, he remains present to ensure that what is flowing into your life is not disrupted, not taken, and not diminished. You are not just stepping into a blessing. You are stepping into a state of living where blessings continue, where clarity leads to action, where action leads to growth, and where growth leads to even greater alignment. This is what it means to live in the overflow. So do not shrink back into old patterns. Do not return to the mindset of lack or limitation. You have moved beyond that now. You have seen what is possible. You have experienced what happens when everything aligns. And this is only going to deepen. Because what has started here is not temporary. It is a new way of living, a new way of being. And as you continue forward, you will begin to understand that the blessing you were waiting for was never meant to be a single moment. It was meant to become your life. My dear one, breathe this in slowly, because what you have been sensing, what you have been feeling building within you throughout this entire journey, it is no longer approaching. It has arrived. Not in the way you once imagined, not with noise or overwhelming force, but with a quiet certainty that settles deep into your spirit. The waiting that once defined your days no longer holds power over you. The questions that once filled your mind have been answered, not all at once, but in the exact way you needed to receive them. And now, you stand in a place that once felt distant, a place of knowing. This is what arrival feels like. It is not chaos. It is calm. It is not confusion. It is clarity. It is not pressure. It is peace. You may look around and realize that everything has not changed overnight, yet something within you has shifted so completely that you see everything differently. And that is the true sign that the blessing is real. Because when something divine enters your life, it does not always begin by changing your surroundings. It begins by transforming you. You are no longer searching. You are no longer waiting. You are no longer wondering if something is coming. You are standing in it. The person who was sent to you has played their role. The message has been delivered. The door has been opened. And you have stepped through. That alone is something to honor, because not everyone chooses to move when their moment arrives. What you did, you listened, you recognized, you responded, and now, everything that follows is an extension of that one decision. There will still be moments ahead where you need to trust, where you need to stay grounded in what you have received. But it will not feel the same as before. You will not be walking in uncertainty. You will be walking with awareness. You will carry a quiet confidence, a deep inner peace that reminds you that you are no longer disconnected from your path. This is alignment. And as you continue forward, remember this. You are not alone in this new chapter. Archangel Michael remains with you, not just as a protector of what was coming, but as a guardian of what has now arrived. His presence surrounds this blessing, ensuring that it remains steady, protected, and guided as it unfolds further in your life. So release any remaining doubt. Let go of the habit of questioning whether this is real. It is real, and it is yours. Allow yourself to rest in that truth. Allow yourself to move forward without fear, without hesitation, without the weight of the past trying to pull you back. because the season you are in now does not require struggle to prove its worth. It only requires your presence to experience it fully. You have reached the moment that once felt impossible, and from here everything begins to flow. Type "I receive my blessing" in the comments if you are stepping fully into this new chapter. Blessing code 8803 is now sealed over your life. And as this peace settles over you, hear this final call, not as a request, but as a divine invitation. What has just reached you is not meant to stop with you. God is speaking even now. The seed you release becomes the harvest you walk into. If this message found you at the exact right moment, if it unlocked something real within your spirit, then this is your moment to act. Say within yourself, "I am part of this mission. I will help carry this light." As you sow through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link placed in the description and QR code, you are not giving to a channel. You are releasing oil into a lamp that must keep burning for others still in darkness. This is your prophetic act. This is your obedience in motion. As you give, may doors open before you without resistance. May rivers of provision flow into your life. May what you release return to you multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. Do not delay this moment. Step into it with faith. Act now.